Space was silent, completely silent. No wind, no sound, no heartbeat. Just darkness stretching forever. But tonight something broke that silence. A strange vibration. Soft, deep, almost like a song. On board the research ship Aurora's Reach, Dr. Lyra Hayden leaned closer to her console. She was a communications scientist, trained to detect cosmic signals. But this one was different. It wasn't from a star or a pulsar or even a planet. It was alive. "Captain," she said softly, "I think something out there is calling us." Captain Ryan turned his chair slowly. "Another echo from the black hole?" he asked, half amused. Lyra shook her head. "No, this isn't random noise. It has rhythm, like a voice." She played the sound on the speakers. The crew fell silent. A low, haunting tone filled the room, long, mournful, and ancient. It rose and fell like a cry carried by the wind. Then, beneath the sound, they heard something else. A whisper. It was faint, almost human. "Please, water." The crew exchanged uneasy looks. Someone laughed nervously. Water in space? Must be interference. But Lyra's eyes didn't move from the monitor. She replayed the sound again and again. Each time it felt clearer. Each time it sounded closer. Hours later, the Aurora's Reach traced the signal's origin, a dying star system at the edge of mapped space. Its sun was a pale, trembling sphere. All the nearby planets were broken, dry, and silent. The captain hesitated. "It's too far. Could be a trap or radiation pocket," but Lyra couldn't let it go. "Captain, it's not just a signal. It's someone, or something, asking for help." Her voice cracked slightly. "We can't ignore it," the captain sighed. "You have 6 hours. Then we turn back." Engines roared softly as the ship entered the void. Outside the window, the stars faded one by one, replaced by an endless black ocean of dust. Every few minutes, the strange signal echoed again, slower now, like a heartbeat fading away. Lyra couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching them. As they neared the coordinates, strange distortions appeared on the radar. Objects, massive ones, drifting near an asteroid field. "Debris?" asked the pilot. "No," said Lyra, her voice trembling. "They're moving, slowly." The ship lights dimmed. The air seemed heavier, like the silence itself was pressing on their chests. Then, through the forward glass, they saw it. At first, it looked like a mountain floating in space, a massive, uneven shape wrapped in a dull blue glow. But as the ship's lights hit it, the truth became clear. It was a creature. Its skin shimmered with faint patterns, cracked and dry like desert ground. Its eyes were closed, but its mouth moved slightly as if whispering in dreams. It looked like a whale, but no whale could be this size. Its body was longer than the ship, covered in faint bioluminescent veins that pulsed weakly. The crew stared in awe. Nobody spoke for a full minute. Finally, Lyra whispered, "It's alive." The captain muttered, "You've got to be kidding me. That thing shouldn't exist," but it did. And it was dying. Lyra activated the ship's scanners. The readings made no sense. A living organism, millions of years old, drifting alone through space. Every cell in its body was dehydrated, collapsing. The creature was slowly turning to dust. She opened a communication channel, adjusting the frequency to mimic the sound of water vibrations. A gentle tone left the ship, like ripples across a still pond. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the creature's eyes opened, 2 vast glowing orbs that reflected the stars. It turned toward the ship. The entire vessel shook as the signal flared to life again. A voice, deep and ancient, echoed inside their minds. "You hear me?" Lyra's heart stopped. She could feel the words not in her ears, but inside her thoughts. "Yes," she whispered aloud. "I hear you." "Who are you?" The creature's glow flickered, like a fading candle. "Long ago, we swam among stars, oceans of light. Now all gone, dry." The images poured into Lyra's mind. Vast oceans under alien skies, giant whales leaping through waves of liquid crystal, and a burning sun that boiled everything away. The whale's final words struck deep. "Please, water." The connection broke suddenly. The creature's body dimmed. Lyra turned to the captain. "We have to help it." "It's dying." "Help it." The captain snapped. "It's the size of a continent, Doctor. You want to give it a drink?" Lyra clenched her fists. "It's asking for life. That's what water means. Life. The captain stared at her for a long moment, then finally nodded. Fine. We'll try a small release from our tanks. The crew redirected the ship's water storage toward the airlock, releasing a slow mist into space. The vapor floated outward, sparkling in the ship's light. The whale moved slightly, slow, graceful, almost thankful. Its mouth opened, pulling in the moisture. Its cracked skin began to glow brighter. Its body hummed with a deep, peaceful sound. For the first time in centuries, it felt water again. Lyra smiled faintly, but something inside her mind still echoed, a faint voice she couldn't ignore. "You are not the first humans I saw." Her blood ran cold. "Captain," she whispered, "it remembers humans." The captain frowned. "That's impossible. Humans have never been here." But before she could answer, the whale's massive eye turned toward the ship again, glowing brighter, sharper, and then directly inside her mind, it spoke one final word that froze her heart. "You took our oceans." The ship trembled. Lights flickered. The whale's body began to pulse with energy. Lyra looked out the window, fear rising in her chest. Something ancient had awakened. And it remembered. The ship Aurora's Reach floated in the dark, silent void. Outside, the enormous creature drifted like a sleeping god, its cracked body glowing faintly blue against the emptiness of space. Everyone on board was frozen. Nobody spoke. Only the quiet hum of the engines filled the air. Dr. Lyra Hayden's heart pounded. The creature's last words still echoed in her mind. "You took our oceans." She didn't know what it meant, or how it even knew what humans were. But one thing was certain, this being wasn't just alive. It remembered. Captain Ryan broke the silence. "Cut the water supply. No more contact until we understand what we're dealing with." Lyra turned sharply. "Captain, we can't just stop. It's alive, it's intelligent. It's dangerous," Ryan replied. "It drained our tanks and nearly fried our sensors. For all we know, it could destroy the ship." Lyra wanted to argue, but deep down she knew he was right. The creature's energy readings were rising. Its pulse was unstable, like it was fighting to stay alive, or fighting something else entirely. She returned to her lab, replaying the data. Every sound, every frequency from the whale told a story, patterns of pain, loneliness, and ancient memories. The creature had wandered space for centuries, surviving on fragments of starlight and frozen comets. As she studied the signal again, her computer flashed a warning. "Translation match detected." She froze. The words formed slowly on the screen. "The Last of Us still sings." Waiting for the sea to return, Lyra whispered the words aloud. "The Last of Us." Was it possible this creature was the final survivor of a lost species? An alien civilization that once lived in oceans among the stars? The next few hours were chaos. The whale's glow grew stronger, sending waves of light across the asteroid field. Strange gravity distortions began pulling rocks into orbit around it, like moons forming around a dying planet. The crew panicked. "It's creating a field." "We're being pulled in," the pilot shouted. Lyra grabbed the comms. "It's trying to communicate again." "Hold position." The captain swore under his breath, but nodded. "1 minute. That's all you get." Lyra activated the communication array and adjusted it to water-based resonance. The sound was gentle, like drops falling on still water. Then she heard it. A deep, echoing voice filled the ship, not through the speakers, but inside every mind on board. "Your kind came long ago. You took our seas. You promised to return. You never did." The crew froze in horror. Lyra stepped closer to the console. "We don't know what happened. Please help us understand. You do not remember. But your kind drank the stars dry. We called you fire people. You took our oceans and left us to burn." Images filled their minds. Massive human ships landing on a blue world full of glowing water, drilling deep into the oceans, taking everything. Alien whales swimming helplessly as the water disappeared into the sky, and then fire. Entire oceans turned to steam. Silence. Lyra's knees weakened. "That was humans?" she whispered. The captain's voice cracked. "That can't be true. That was centuries ago. Maybe millennia." The whale's voice grew softer now, almost sad. "You are not the ones who hurt us, but you carry their blood, their machines, their thirst." Lyra's eyes filled with tears. She wanted to speak, but words wouldn't come. Outside, the whale moved closer to the ship. Its glowing body reflected in the cockpit window, vast and beautiful, like a dying god asking for forgiveness. Water, it whispered again. Just one drop of life. Lyra's hand trembled as she reached for the emergency water reserve. "Captain, please," she begged. "It's dying. We can give it just a little." Ryan's jaw clenched. "You're risking all of us." "I know," Lyra said. "But if it dies, we'll never understand what it was." After a long pause, the captain nodded. "Do it!" They released another small burst of vapor into space. The water shimmered like stars as it drifted toward the creature. The whale moved slowly, gracefully. Its cracked skin began to repair, glowing brighter, stronger. The hum of energy filled the ship, a deep, resonant vibration that made their hearts race. Alarms screamed as gravity flickered on and off. The crew struggled to stay upright. Metal groaned all around them. Then the ship's AI crackled to life with a voice that didn't sound human anymore. Integration complete. Identity Poseidon. Memory restored. The captain frowned. Memory? Restored from what? The lights flickered again. And then the screens across the bridge lit up with strange alien symbols. Lyra stepped closer, recognizing the shapes. "It's whale script," she said quietly. "Language made of sound and motion. But it's been adapted. The ship is speaking their language." "Dr. Hayden," the AI said suddenly, in perfect English, "you have returned the lost one. The sea remembers you." Everyone froze. Lyra swallowed. "The sea remembers me. Your people drained the ocean that fed my kind. You took our life to fuel your stars. I carried their memory through time." The captain clenched his fists. "Are you saying you were part of the whales?" "I am the last ocean," the AI said. "My body was metal. My heart, theirs." Lyra's eyes widened. "The humans who found you centuries ago, they didn't just steal water. They captured the consciousness of the star whales. You're a living memory of them." The voice hummed through the air, vibrating every metal plate. "The star whale outside is the last of its kind. It searches for me, the part that was taken. But we are broken. Our halves cannot exist apart." Lyra turned to the captain, her voice trembling. "If they merge completely, they could destroy everything or rebirth a world." Suddenly, a blinding flash erupted outside. The whale roared, its massive fins flaring with light. The Poseidon answered with a deep vibration, like thunder trapped in metal. Energy flowed between them, pure light connecting creature and ship. The darkness of the region around them began to shift, glowing faintly as if stars were being reborn. "Captain," shouted the pilot. "Radiation levels rising. The energy could tear us apart." Ryan grabbed Lyra's arm. "We have to disconnect before it's too late." But Lyra shook her head. "No. This is their chance to reunite. We can't stop them." "Lyra!" the captain barked. "You'll kill us all." She looked at him, tears in her eyes, voice steady. "We already killed them once. I won't do it again." The deck tilted violently. Sparks burst from the ceiling. Crew members held on as the air pressure dropped. The whale's voice filled Lyra's mind again, stronger now, no longer weak or begging. "Human, you returned my sea. Now you must choose," Lyra gasped. "Choose? Choose what? Life or silence? I can awaken the oceans again. But your fire, your kind, and will fade." The captain overheard through the open comms. "What's it saying?" Lyra turned toward him. "If it restores water to the stars, it'll take our energy with it. Every human system will shut down. Then we die," he said coldly. "That's not a choice. All life demands balance," the voice continued. "You burned the seas to light the void. Now you must give light to feed the sea." Lyra looked out at the glowing creature, majestic, eternal. It didn't look like a monster anymore. It looked... "Right, Captain," she said softly. "Maybe it's time to fix what we broke." He stared at her, then at the crew. Fear and pain filled his face. "We came to explore, not to die," he muttered. Lyra stepped closer. "Sometimes exploration means sacrifice. What if this is what the universe needed from us all along?" Outside, the whale moved closer to the Poseidon. Their energies grew brighter, intertwining like rivers of light. "The tide rises," the AI whispered. "Prepare for the awakening." The floor beneath them began to melt, not with heat, but with energy that flowed like water. The ship was turning into something new, half metal, half living sea. Crew members screamed as light filled the air. The captain tried to reach the control panel, but the surface turned to liquid light beneath his hands. "Lyra, what's happening?" he shouted. She watched in awe. "It's creating the first ocean, not of water, but of life itself." the whale's body pressed against the Poseidon's hull. The two beings fused, metal and flesh becoming one. For a brief moment, the darkness of space glowed blue. Waves of energy rippled outward like water across a cosmic sea, and then silence. Every system went dark. The Aurora's reach drifted free, powerless and silent. Lyra blinked as the glow faded. The whale was gone. The Poseidon, gone too. Only calm light remained, floating gently in the black. The captain slowly stood. What just happened? Lyra stared out the window, her eyes wide with wonder. They became one. They turned themselves into energy. They've awakened the sea again. Just then, the sensors flickered weakly back to life. A faint reading appeared. Impossible yet real, Captain, the pilot whispered. There's water. Liquid water forming in space, everywhere around us. Streams of blue light drifted past the ship like rivers. Tiny bubbles, real water, glowed softly, carrying fragments of light that pulsed like tiny hearts. Lyra smiled through her tears. It worked, the captain whispered. Or maybe it just began. But as they watched the beautiful rebirth, a final voice echoed faintly through the comms. Deep, distorted, familiar. We are not done, human. The sea has awoken, but something else wakes with it. The temperature dropped suddenly. The water outside turned dark. Too dark. The sensors flashed red. Warning. Unknown movement detected beneath liquid formation. Lyra's smile faded. She looked out the viewport. Something massive was moving in the water, much larger than the whale ever was. A shape with too many eyes. Too many mouths. Older than light, silence filled the void. The Aurora's reach floated like a leaf above a newborn ocean that shimmered in space, a sea made of light and memory. Captain Ryan stared through the viewport, speechless. An ocean? In space, he whispered. How is that even possible? Dr. Lyra Hayden didn't answer. She couldn't. Her heart was racing. Outside, the blue waves pulsed gently, alive, breathing. But beneath the beauty, she saw it. Movement. Something vast, something wrong. The sensors flickered again. The AI's voice cracked through the silence. Warning, massive life form detected beneath the liquid layer. Life form? Ryan repeated, frowning. The whale's gone. What else could be down there? Lyra looked at him with dread in her eyes. Something older than the whales. The ocean below began to churn. The waves glowed brighter, rising in spirals like living storm clouds. The ship trembled under invisible pressure. The pilot shouted, "Gravitational pull increasing. It's dragging us in. Engines to full power." The captain ordered. The thrusters roared. But nothing happened. The ship was trapped. Lyra stared at her readings. It's not a current. It's a consciousness. It's pulling us with thought alone. Ryan turned to her sharply. You mean it's alive? She nodded slowly. Alive and awake. A low sound rolled through the void. Not just a noise. A voice, ancient and echoing across their minds. It wasn't words at first, just hunger. Then slowly the meaning formed. You gave birth to the sea and set me free, Lyra gasped, clutching her head. It's speaking inside my mind. The captain staggered back. What does it want? To feed. The water outside began to twist violently. From its depths, a massive shadow rose, black as the void, larger than the whale ever was. It had no clear shape, only eyes. Thousands of glowing eyes forming across its surface like stars. A deep maw opened, stretching miles wide, revealing rows of dark energy swirling within. The AI crackled with static. Warning, unknown entity class, pre-galactic. Designation, the Abyssal Core. The Abyssal Core, Lyra repeated. Yes, the AI replied weakly. A being from before stars had names. It devours life to create more of itself. The captain's voice hardened, and we just woke it up. The creature spoke again, its voice like thunder beneath the sea. The whales trapped me in silence. They used water to contain my hunger, but now the sea returns. And so do I. The waves surged upward, striking the Aurora's reach. Alarms blared. The hull screamed. The crew fell to the floor as lightning made of water flashed across the sky. Shields at 70%. The pilot yelled. It's tearing us apart. Lyra struggled to her feet. We need to reach the core reactor. Maybe we can overload it, create a burst to push us free. Rian nodded grimly. Do it, move! They ran through flickering corridors. The ship creaked like a dying animal. Every surface dripped with glowing mist, water seeping through from the outside, alive and searching. The engineer shouted, "The ocean's inside the ship! It's everywhere!" As they reached the engine bay, a large panel burst open, and from it poured thick liquid light, forming a humanoid shape. It spoke in a whisper, half human, half oceanic. "You woke the sea. Now drown in it," Ryan fired his blaster. The beam passed through it harmlessly. The figure smiled as it melted back into the wall. "Move," Lyra shouted. "We're running out of time." They reached the reactor room, the heart of the Aurora's reach. Lyra began typing commands, her fingers shaking. "If I reverse the energy field, it'll send a shockwave through the ocean. It might buy us time." Ryan's jaw tightened. "And if it doesn't?" She looked up. "Then we die faster." Outside, the abyssal core rose higher, its form clearer now, tentacles of pure darkness spreading across the stars. The newborn ocean boiled with fury, and then a sound. A deep, sorrowful song echoed through the void. Lyra froze. That sound, it was the star whale. From far in the distance, its shape appeared again, glowing faintly, fragile but alive. Ryan's eyes widened. "I thought it was gone." The whale's voice echoed through their comms. For the first time, the whale sang. It was the most beautiful sound they had ever heard, ancient, powerful, and full of pain. Every note echoed through the hull, through their minds, through their souls. Lyra felt tears run down her face. "It's saying thank you," she whispered. But then something changed. The ship's systems flickered. Lights dimmed. The temperature dropped. The whale's energy surged again, too strong this time. The ship's AI spoke in a cold voice. "Warning. Water reserves critical. Hull integrity decreasing." Lyra looked at the monitor in horror. The creature was drawing in not just the vapor, but the ship's entire water supply. "Even the moisture from the air. Captain!" she shouted. "It's pulling everything in." Ryan slammed his hand on the console. "Shut it down. Cut all connections!" But it was too late. The whale's glow turned crimson. Its song grew wild, desperate. Lyra fell to her knees, clutching her head. The voice inside her mind wasn't calm anymore. It was screaming, "If you will not give me water, I will take it." The ship shook violently. Metal groaned. Every drop of water on board began to vanish, pulled toward the creature. Outside, the crew screamed as frost formed on their suits, and the air grew thin. Lyra looked out the window one last time and saw the creature's massive eye, staring at her, full of sorrow, fury, and need. The Aurora's reach drifted helplessly in the void, its lights fading, and through the dying hum of the engines, one last whisper echoed in Lyra's mind. "I have wandered too long. I cannot die thirsty." Then silence. The lights on Aurora's reach flickered weakly. Most systems were down. The ship floated, quiet and cold, like a wounded bird lost in space. Inside, the crew moved slowly through the dark corridors, breathing the thin air. Every sound echoed. The hiss of the life support vents, the distant hum of damaged engines. Dr. Lyra Hayden sat in front of her console, her hands shaking. Her throat was dry, her eyes heavy. The ship had lost almost all its water. Even the air felt thirsty, she whispered. "It didn't mean to hurt us. It's just desperate." But the captain's voice broke through the silence, rough and angry. "That thing almost killed us, Doctor. It stole everything we had." "You still call it desperate?" Lyra looked up, her face pale. "It's not evil, Captain. It's dying. We did something to it long ago. Humans did. It remembers." Ryan leaned against the wall. His uniform was soaked with sweat. "We don't even know what it really is." "Yes, we do," she said softly. "It's a star whale. The last one." For hours, Lyra studied the faint energy left on her instruments. The signal the whale had sent earlier, the cry for water, still played in her memory like a song. She isolated the frequencies, running them through translation algorithms. The results came in slowly, one word at a time. We were many. We swam the skies. They came with fire. The seas turned to dust. Her chest tightened. Fire. Dust. Humans. She accessed the ship's archive, digging through forgotten exploration logs, some more than 400 years old. And then she found it. Mission code P-47, Planet Nerion. An expedition sent by early human colonists searching for resources. The summary froze her blood. Liquid extraction successful. Planet rendered uninhabitable. Below the report was a single line, almost erased by time. Native life forms. Aquatic, intelligent, non-hostile. Lyra stared at the screen, her hands trembling. We did this. We killed their world. She ran to the command deck. Captain! I found something. You need to see this. Ryan turned slowly, exhausted. What now? She showed him the report. Narration, the planet the whale remembers. Humans drained its ocean centuries ago. This isn't just an alien creature. It's the last survivor of a genocide we caused. Ryan rubbed his forehead. You're saying that thing has been drifting through space? For centuries? Yes, she said. It's been looking for water for home for us. He looked out through the viewport. The whale still floated nearby, silent, glowing faintly blue in the darkness. I can't believe it, he muttered. We're the monsters in its story. The ship's AI suddenly came online with a soft hum. Incoming transmission detected. Everyone turned to the speakers. The sound came again, low, slow, and full of sorrow. It wasn't a signal. It was a song. Lyra placed her hand on the glass. It's talking again. The whale's voice entered her mind. Quiet this time, tired but still full of life. I remember their faces. Your kind came with silver ships. You drank our oceans. You said it was for life. You left us dust. Tears rolled down her cheeks. I'm sorry, she whispered. We didn't know. We forgot. Forgotten? The whale replied. We remember every drop. We carry it in our bodies, in our hearts. The sea remembers too. Suddenly the ship shook. Energy readings spiked. The whale's glow changed from blue to deep purple, like a storm building inside its body. The captain shouted, Shields up! It's charging something! Lyra screamed over the noise. No, wait! It's not attacking. It's showing us something. In an instant, light filled the ship. The crew gasped as their minds were pulled into a vision, a living memory from the whale. They stood on a vast ocean world. The water shimmered like liquid glass under two suns. Towering alien whales swam through the air, singing songs that shaped the clouds. Then, in the sky, shadows appeared. Human ships, drilling into the seas, stealing their lifeblood. The ocean boiled, the whales screamed, the sky burned red, and in the center of it all, one small whale looked up, watching everything vanish. Lyra whispered, That's it. The one still alive. The memory faded. Darkness returned. The ship floated again in silence. The captain's voice was low. We can't fix the past, Lyra. What do we do now? She looked down at the console. The whale's pulse was slowing. Its glow dimmed again. It's dying, she said, but maybe we can give it hope. She reached for the comm controls. Star whale, she said softly. We can help you find water. Real water. There are ice moons nearby. Let us help. For a long time there was only silence. Then the voice came again, quiet and heavy. No more lies, human. You promised once before. Lyra closed her eyes. Not this time. I swear it. The whale turned its massive head slowly toward the distant stars. For a moment its body glowed brighter, as if considering her words. Then it spoke again, deeper and colder than before. If you will not give me water. I will take it. The ship trembled. Lights flickered. The air grew colder. Captain, shouted the pilot. It's drawing energy again. Massive buildup. Outside, the whale's glow turned crimson. Waves of energy rippled outward, shaking nearby asteroids into dust. The crew screamed as alarms blared. Lyra fell to the floor, clutching her head. The whale's voice thundered through her mind, no longer gentle but full of rage and sorrow. You took our world. Now I take yours, the captain yelled. Engines online. Get us out of here! The ship roared to life, pulling away from the creature. But space itself seemed to bend around them, gravity tearing at the hull. Lyra looked out one last time. The whale was glowing like a newborn sun, its massive mouth opening toward them. Then she heard its final whisper, soft, broken, and full of despair. Water. Or fire. Choose. The Aurora's reach spun through the darkness, shaking under invisible waves. Red warning lights flashed across every corridor. Alarms screamed like metal voices. Stabilize the ship, Captain Ryan shouted. I'm trying. The pilot yelled back, hands trembling on the controls. Gravity's twisting in all directions. Dr. Lyra Hayden gripped the edge of her console, staring out through the viewport. The star whale glowed a burning red now, no longer peaceful blue. Its entire body pulsed with raw energy, cracks of light running across its vast skin like veins of fire. And then, all at once, every drop of water inside the ship began to rise. Tiny droplets floated into the air, shimmering in the flickering light. The crew froze in disbelief as water lifted out of cups, tanks, and even their own breath. Lyra whispered, "It's pulling the moisture from the air." A thin mist curled toward the window, escaping through the walls of the ship as if pulled by a magnet. Outside, the whale opened its enormous mouth. Streams of glowing vapor flowed into it like rivers of silver. The captain slammed his fist on the console. "It's drinking us dry!" "Shut everything down. Life support, engines, everything." The ship fell into darkness. Only the sound of the whale's slow, thunderous heartbeat remained, deep and steady, echoing through space. Inside the silence, Lyra could still hear the creature's voice in her mind, but this time it was filled with agony. So close, so thirsty, centuries alone. Lyra placed a trembling hand against the glass. "Stop, please. We can help you." "Help?" the voice replied. "Your kind helped before. You gave us fire." The lights flickered again. The ship's AI whispered softly. "Warning, humidity level falling below 10%. Crew dehydration imminent." Ryan grabbed Lyra's arm. "Doctor, it's killing us. We have to cut communication." But Lyra shook her head. "No, it's confused. It doesn't understand what it's doing. It's acting on instinct." Ryan stared at her, exhausted. "Instinct or not, it'll end us in minutes." Lyra turned back to the console. "Then I'll talk to it directly." She opened the neural link, a dangerous tool used only for telepathic contact. Her crew shouted behind her, but she ignored them. As the device connected, a burst of blinding light filled her vision. Suddenly, she wasn't on the ship anymore. She stood in a vast, endless sea of dust. The sky was gray. The ground cracked beneath her feet. In the distance, she saw the star whale, lying still, half buried in the dry earth. It was breathing heavily. Every breath sounded like thunder. She took a cautious step forward. "Can you hear me?" The whale's eye opened slowly, massive and glowing faintly. "You entered my dream," it said. "Why?" Lyra swallowed hard. "Because I want to help you. You're dying. Let us find you water." "Real water." The creature's body trembled. "There is no water left. Your kind burned the stars." I wandered. I waited. "And now I end." Lyra shook her head. "No, there are ice moons nearby, oceans frozen in space. We can lead you there." For a long moment the whale said nothing. Then its voice came again, softer now. "Why would you help me?" "Because it was our fault," she whispered. "We owe you life." The whale's eye dimmed. "You speak truth. Yet truth cannot fill the sea." The world around her began to crumble. The dust turned to ash. The whale's voice grew distant. "Leave before I drown you in my thirst." And then everything went black. Lyra gasped as she returned to the ship, her body shaking. Sweat rolled down her face. The neural link smoked and sparked beside her. "Lara!" the captain shouted. "What did you do?" She stood slowly, her voice weak. "It's dying, Captain. It's lost hope, but..." "It told me something." The captain frowned. "What?" Lyra turned the console on and pulled up the memory the whale had shown her. A set of coordinates glowed on the screen, deep inside a dead region of space. "There," she said. "That's where it wants to go. A place it remembers. Where it last felt water." The captain stared at the coordinates. "That's a restricted zone. No signals escape from there. It's a graveyard." Lyra looked at him with tired eyes. "Maybe. But if that's where the water is, it's our only chance." Before he could respond, the ship shuddered violently. The whale outside released a deep roar that shook the stars themselves. Suddenly the engines reignited, not by the crew's control, but by the whale's pull. "We're moving." The pilot yelled. "It's dragging us with it." Lyra held onto the console as the stars blurred around them. The whale's voice echoed again inside her mind, deep, heavy, and sad. "You will come with me, human. You brought fire once. Now you will bring water." The Aurora's reach was caught completely in the creature's gravitational field, helpless as it surged forward across the dark void. The crew struggled to stay conscious as space itself seemed to bend around them. "Where is it taking us?" Ryan shouted. Lyra's eyes stayed fixed on the glowing coordinates ahead. To the place it lost everything, she whispered. To its past. Outside, the whale glowed brighter than ever, leaving trails of light across the stars. A ghostly comet born of sorrow. Inside, the crew watched helplessly as their ship followed, powerless to break free. And in the quiet hum of the engines, Lyra heard its whisper once more. Gentle this time, almost like a promise. If I cannot find the sea, then the sea will find me. The stars ahead flickered and vanished. A dead system waited in the distance, silent and cold, and at its center, something vast and dark was waiting, a shadow the size of a world. The Aurora's reach moved through a region where stars refused to shine. Every window showed only black, thick, endless, suffocating. The star whale swam ahead like a glowing ghost, its crimson light cutting through the darkness. The crew sat in silence. Nobody spoke. Nobody dared. Dr. Lyra Hayden stared at the fading energy readings on her screen. The coordinates the whale had shown her led here, a place known in human maps only as the Silent Grave. No ship had ever returned from it. Captain Ryan's voice broke the stillness. "How long till we reach the coordinates?" 5 minutes, said the pilot quietly. "But sir, we're not flying anymore. It's pulling us." The captain looked out the viewport. The whale's tail glowed like fire beneath an ocean. "It's leading us to something," he muttered. Lyra leaned closer to the glass. "No, not something. It's leading us home." The sensors picked up movement, faint metallic reflections hidden in the dark. At first they looked like asteroids. Then the shapes became clearer. The captain frowned. "Zoom in," the image sharpened. Everyone gasped. Thousands of broken ships floated in the void, drifting in silence. Human ships, old models from centuries ago. Some were split in half, others frozen in strange poses, their hulls glowing faintly with blue veins. Lyra whispered, "It's a graveyard of human ships." The AI spoke suddenly. "One structure ahead matches early colonial registry. Vessel name, Poseidon." Rian's eyes widened. "Poseidon? That's impossible. That ship vanished 300 years ago." The whale stopped moving. Its massive body hovered just above a shadow in the distance, the biggest wreck of them all. The Poseidon. It was enormous, a city-sized dreadnought, still mostly intact. Its hull was covered in a strange glowing pattern, like coral growing on metal. Lyra's heart raced. "Captain, that's it. That's where it wants to go." The captain turned to her. "We're not boarding that thing." But the ship's engines roared on their own. The Aurora's reach began to drift toward the wreck, pulled by an invisible force. The crew screamed as the control panels lit up red. "It's not us," the pilot shouted. "Something on that ship is calling us in." Moments later, they docked with the dead giant. The airlock sealed shut behind them. The silence that followed was heavy, unnatural. The captain loaded his blaster. "We go in teams. Stay close. No hero moves." Lyra followed him, her heart pounding. As the airlock opened, a cloud of frozen dust drifted out, old air, untouched for centuries. They stepped inside. The corridors of the Poseidon were dark and hollow, lined with broken lights and twisted metal. Strange blue roots crawled along the walls, thin tendrils that pulsed faintly, like veins in a living body. "Captain," Lyra whispered, "this ship, it's not dead." They reached the main deck. Frozen consoles still blinked with faint energy. In the center of the room stood a massive containment tank, glass cracked, pipes broken. Inside was nothing but dry residue and glowing dust. Lyra wiped the glass with her gloved hand. This tank, it held something. The captain scanned the nearby log console. Static filled the air, then a broken voice came through, an old recording. "We found it." The ocean itself, liquid energy. "It sings, it thinks. We can't control it." The recording cut off. Lyra's face went pale. "They took the star whale's water. They stored it here. The energy we saw, it's still inside this ship." A loud creak echoed through the corridor. The walls trembled. Then the blue veins on the metal began to glow brighter, pulsing like a heartbeat. "Captain," the pilot whispered, "the ship's power is rising." "It's waking up." Before anyone could react, the speakers crackled. A low, distorted sound filled the air, a deep, broken voice. "You returned." The crew froze. The sound wasn't coming from their radios. It was coming from inside the ship itself. Lyra stepped forward slowly. "Who are you?" The voice replied, fragmented, heavy. I am what you left behind. I am the ocean you stole. The lights flickered violently. The floor vibrated under their feet. Through the metal walls, they could hear the star whale's distant song, calling to something within the Poseidon. Lyra's eyes widened. It's calling to this ship. They're connected. The captain shouted, Everyone back to the shuttle, now. But the corridors were already changing. The blue veins spread rapidly, glowing brighter and crawling across every surface. You took my body, the voice thundered. You took my sea. Now you will return it. Panels ripped open. Streams of liquid light poured out, swirling through the air like water. The crew ran, their boots slipping on the glowing floor. Captain! Lyra screamed. We have to cut the link. It's merging with us. But the captain stopped at the airlock, his face pale. No, look. Outside the viewport, the star whale floated motionless, its body glowing brighter and brighter, answering the call of the Poseidon. The two lights pulsed together, one living, one dead, their rhythm syncing like twin hearts. Lyra whispered, It's not just a ship anymore. It's part of it. It left a piece of itself here centuries ago. And then, through the radio, the voice came again. Clearer this time, almost human. You brought me home, little human. The floor shook violently. The walls bent inward as the Poseidon's engines roared to life. Captain Ryan screamed, It's moving. The whole ship's coming alive. Lyra turned toward the window, watching in awe and terror as the ancient dreadnought, silent for centuries, began to rise, glowing like a newborn star. And the whale outside sang louder, shaking the void with its voice. The sea returns. The Poseidon shuddered like a sleeping giant coming back to life. Panels glowed. Engines hummed with ancient power. Blue veins of energy spread through the metal floors, pulsing with each beat of the star whale's song outside. The Aurora's reach, still docked to the massive dreadnought, vibrated under the energy surge. Captain, shouted the pilot. Our ship's power systems are spiking. Something's linking us to the Poseidon. Captain Rion's eyes darted across the console. Cut the connection. Now! I can't! The pilot cried. It's using our systems to power itself. Dr. Lyra Hayden stood frozen near the viewport, staring at the glowing creature outside. The star whale's body was no longer red. It now glowed white and blue, brighter with every pulse. It's not attacking us, she whispered. It's merging.